Welcome everybody to another edition of Blacks in Motion right here at Black Video News at 8. And as always, it's your sports guy Cliff here giving you the hottest news in sports. And on this week's segment, we're gonna talk football. On the field, off the field, college, and pros. I must say, the first thing we're going to talk about, these new college football rankings, I'm a little upset about that, but we'll get back to that. The other thing I want to talk about is going to be the NFL and what some of its players did in reaction to what happened in Ferguson, Missouri. Now let's go back to the college football playoffs. Everybody's excited about this new system, and we are always excited on Tuesdays when they announce the top 4 teams of the rankings. So this time, I was already mad. Why? Because Florida State, undefeated, still was at number 3. But guess what? We have new polls, and Cliff is not a happy camper. So let me just go ahead and run down the rankings to you. At number 4, Florida State. That's right, they dropped them down. But let me tell you something. Those guys are not playing great football, but they are gutting out wins. They've beat everybody that they've played. And nobody's saying anything about the way Jameis Winston is playing and holding his composure behind an offensive line that is subpar compared to last season. Coming in at number 3, the new kids to the bunch, the TCU Horned Frogs. Those guys have bum rushed into the top 4 behind the play of quarterback Trayvon Boykin. Those guys have a high-powered offense. Look for them to continue to make a little bit of noise. At number 2, this is where things kind of stay the same. You got Oregon, that's right, the Ducks, being led by Heisman favorite quarterback Marcus Mariota. Those guys are still very good, but I'm going to tell you about what I think is going to happen with them. And also now at number 1, Roll Tide, that's right, Alabama. Everybody's always on Alabama's tip, but those guys are playing great football behind their Heisman hopeful wide receiver Amari Cooper. Now, the small rant I want to talk about. There's no way on this blue and green earth that the Florida State Seminoles, defending champions, are still undefeated and they fall in the rankings. Is this something new that where up is down and down is up? How do you continue to win and fall in the rankings? Well, I guess if you're the Florida State Seminoles, that's what you do. Yes, I know that they do not play in a very tough conference. Yes, I know they've been struggling, but they have been winning. And the last time I checked, undefeated earns you something. And yes, those guys don't play against great opponents, but they do play against ranked opponents, just like they'll be playing for the ACC championship this weekend against Georgia Tech, who's currently ranked 11. You know, if you ask me, I think it's a little bit of a conspiracy. What does everybody want to see? They want to see Alabama defeat the defending champion Florida State Seminoles. Well, the only way you can guarantee that matchup is if you continue to stick Florida State at the number 4 position and keep Alabama at the number 1. Small conspiracy, but you'll hear it some more in my predictions in which I'm about to give. So if you ask me, I think Oregon's going to lose its Pac-12 championship game against Arizona. The only loss that they currently have is against Arizona, and I think they lose again, which will basically put them out of the top 4. So Cliff's prediction of the last Final 4 in college football will be Alabama, TCU, Baylor, and Florida State. I think Baylor's going to win its final game, and it's going to go ahead and get into the college Final 4, which will have 2 Big 12 teams featured in those top 4 teams, and Florida State wins the ACC championship but stays right there at number 4. So now you have a semifinal battle between TCU and Baylor, a rematch of those teams. And then also you'll have the great big matchup that everybody wants, Alabama and Florida State. It'll be held in New Orleans. Both fan bases can drive there. Yes, college football is not stupid. Yes, part of it is still all about the money. Now, unfortunately, as much as I'm a Seminoles fan, I'm going to predict that the championship game is going to be between Alabama and TCU. And at this point, everybody's going to tune in and watch Alabama win yet another championship under Nick Saban. And those are my predictions. I'm not happy. I hate predicting against the Seminoles. This whole thing just got me in an uproar. But hey, it's my job to bring you what I think is going to happen and all the news in college football. Go ahead and stay logged on right here to Blacks in Motion, because when we come back from the break, we're going to talk a little social activism on the football field in the NFL. Go ahead and stay logged on.